This is Jill Mattson, and we're talking about whether or not it would be better to listen to music when A is tuned to 432 Hertz or 440 Hertz, which is today's standard. Many people, such as Rudolf Steiner and the violinist Vivaldi, strongly proposed that humanity should be listening to 432, a slightly lower in pitch A, than we do now, so that the range of our music would just be a little deeper. And in fact, there were even protests, perhaps close to 100 years ago, when the tuning note was globally established at 440. Again, people regretted the loss of this 432 Hertz that they said resonated their hearts. When I listen to music in 432, Stairway to Heaven is a song that's tuned to 432A. It's a little bit deeper. And it also kind of massages my heart. Getting a heart massage, wow, that's really beautiful. It would perhaps spur me on to use my heart to open up and feel compassion, to love. But in duality, every energy has a positive and negative aspect. So there is love, and then to master love, we must learn to master lack of love. For example, if we need to master abundance, we must spend time with abundance and lack of abundance. Look at Buddha's life, who taught people how to deal with disappointment and sorrow and suffering. He started out being super rich, the king's son, and he ended up going out and starving himself underneath a tree. There's the dichotomy, and he showed people to stay away from suffering, kind of stay in that middle ground. Okay, back to 432 versus 440. So for those reasons, I love music at 432 resonating in my heart center, massaging and opening up my heart. But this argument looks back in history 100 or so years, and no more. Look back to ancient China, where the establishment of the Hertz or the tuning pitch was the sole responsibility of the emperor, for it was considered the most important task to tune the nation. The tone was often tweaked and changed during the reign of an emperor. He would feel the energy of the stars and the earth. It was believed at that time that everything was energy. Energy always changes. It's never static. Like we're born and we change as we age. Everything morphs and changes in energy. Likewise, the Chinese, interested in balancing their people and their lands, would change the pitch that they tuned to keep their people in balance. They even had a department of measurements in which people would have to bring in, let's say, a flute. And if the tuning note was altered, they'd have to make a new flute because they were not allowed to play a different tuning note than that prescribed by the government. And since they didn't have radio or little bands here and there, the government controlled the vibrations the people heard through music. So in China, you can see the tuning note basically being an F, going up, down, and just changing throughout their many thousands of years of history. When the emperor died, they assumed that he had not properly tuned the tuning pitch or the nation, or he wouldn't have died. So whenever a new emperor took over, one of the first and most important tasks was to select the new tone to balance. So ancient China would say that whether it's 432 or 440, that would actually depend on the time and how that tone balanced the energies of heaven and earth at that particular time, and that it would change. If you look, let's say, at the Hindu music, now they're tuning to a C. They also alter their tuning note up and down throughout time. You can look at cultures where they're tuning to a D. And when you look through time, you see people tuning to every note. This is the big picture, not the last 100 years, the big picture. I liken the tuning process to, we have a time period in which we're tuning, strengthening, massaging, growing, mastering the energy of our root chakra. Next, a new age unfolds. Now we're tuning to perhaps the sacral or the solar plexus chakra. So we're learning to balance and master different energies. I believe that the 432 is a beautiful energy that I love because it opens up my heart. But I feel that the energies are rising and that we are now tuning to 440, but that won't last. The tuning note is already going up. When you have like band competitions, you'll often find one band tunes higher to be brighter and stand out more against the next. Most orchestras are now tuning to 444, and I read someplace, I thought it was Boston Philharmonic, was tuning to 476. So I love the music of when it's tuned to 432. The warmth is just so beautiful. But I also embrace that energy always changes, and I believe that we're learning new frequencies to master, with new blessings and new challenges. I hope you find this helpful. I have a tremendous amount of information like this on ancient sound and vibrational healing practices in my book, The Lost Waves of Time. It's available at ancient-music.com and also jillswingsoflight.com. At jillswingsoflight.com, there's also music, a half-hour free music, using ancient healing practices to bless and uplift your energies.